Right, so amid the government's push to boost agricultural production, reach self-sufficiency, but also promote sustainable agricultural practices and also improve the livelihood of smallholder farmers and farmers themselves as well. How much of a role can Agritech really play? To delve more into the topic, joining me now today is Semaai co-founder Muhammad Yoga Anindito. Hi, Mas Yoga, thank you so much for coming to our studios again.
Pleasure.
Right, so there seems to be this push or maybe this interest from the government, right? As I mentioned there, the Cooperatives and the MSMEs Minister Teten Masduki called for more Agritech startups in every region, made their focus for self-sufficiency and more production, right? So what I want to ask is, how important of a role is Agritech playing right now in the agricultural industry, and what specific benefit is it bringing to food and agriculture, whether it be prices, supply security, or otherwise?
Well, for me, the way I see it, the number one role that tech can help play out in Indonesia is to become an aggregator. Because when you successfully aggregate the demand and the supply in the agricultural sector, and then making sure that it's discoverable, right? Yeah. And you can drive the prices down for the customers, and then also that would in turn help increase the livelihood of the farmers themselves. When farmers' livelihood increase, then it is easier for them to produce food for us, yeah. And then also that would lead to self-sufficiency of food nationwide.
Right. So just to get it clear, I mean, your model, your Agritech model, is to provide a marketplace for farmers and smallholder businesses to get whatever they need necessary easier, right?
Yes.
And then that would bring down the prices. Have you seen that happen in real time? I mean, just talk to us more about that. The prices going down.
The way our business model revolves around aggregating the demand for agri-input materials. So we're talking about seeds, pesticides, fertilizers, right? So we are working closely with what you would call toko tani or agri-retailers.
Yeah.
We also aggregate and work with the farmer groups.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this way, I mean, we can aggregate their demands and then help service them by doing logistics also for them, and also in that sense we are helping them buying at the best price.
Right, at a lower cost. So production cost is lower, then it will be lower for.
That's the idea.
For the consumer, right? Because as we know, inflation in food has been a problem because of climate-related issues, El Nino and so forth, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also, there's also this, global price changes, right? And then, especially with the war that's happening right now, fertilizer prices shoot up.
Right, exactly.
So, somebody has to step up and then, help reduce the price increase, so to say, right? So,
right. So that's one of the ways that Agritech can play a role, especially
one of the ways, yes.
In Indonesia. Right. So as I was mentioning earlier, the Cooperatives and SMEs Minister Teten Masduki called for Agritech in every region, right? As I understand it, Semaai, you guys focus mostly in Central Java, where you're working, I think, in 2,980 villages for over 2.6 million farmers in Central Java. But what do you think about the potential of expanding to other regions across Indonesia, and maybe what are the challenges regarding that?
I think that's relevant, especially Pak Teten Masduki also mentioned that you need to somehow involve the small medium enterprises, right? MSMEs, right? Because they also act as your aggregator, as a demand aggregator, right? When we're talking about Java, for example, I mean, there's already too many people, too many farmers in Java. I mean, there's a lot of farmers in Java, right? But the way the market is structured outside of Java, it doesn't make sense to for us, it doesn't make sense to service the farmers one by one, right?
Yeah.
And also, same goes also for the buyers as well. You don't deal with farmers one by one. You need these MSMEs, to aggregate the demands and then service their farmers better, right? So the opportunity is very large and very open outside of Java. So maybe next year we're going into that. Yeah.
Ah, okay, great. Okay. Yeah, looking forward to that. And of course, and hopefully that'll bring food prices down as well further. Friday is ESG Day in Teten Business. We want to talk about the social aspect side. Now, as I understand it, Semaai, they prefer to develop or work together with women-led farmer groups. So could maybe just talk to us more about that strategy?
I mean, we don't say that we prefer work for women.
I'm sorry.
We work
yeah.
with everybody, right?
Sure.
But I think there is merit in putting more emphasis in, not emphasis, but putting more attention to particularly women farmers, women-led MSMEs and farmer groups, yeah, because our data shows that these women-led businesses, they're usually better run,
yeah,
and also are more disciplined in terms of running their business, paying off loans, and are more willing to listen to other people. So that if you want to introduce new technologies, for example, new agricultural technologies, new methods, it's much easier to do it through women farmers.
Okay. Now, I want to also talk about the sustainable side of agricultural practices. In what ways has Agritech promoted sustainable land management practices, for example, through integrated pest management, soil conservation, and so forth? How do you guys, play that out?
Sorry?
To introduce more sustainable agricultural practices from the Agritech side.
First thing that you need to do is to make the products or technology feasible, right?
Right.
And accessible to the farmer. So that's what we're trying to do by creating this state-of-the-art distribution network.
Yeah.
So we don't deal with just the large businesses, but we also deal with the smaller. Those guys are the smaller spectrum of MSMEs, right? The smaller MSMEs. So we deal with them, and then that way we have more reach to local farmers. We are present in every village.
Yeah.
That's the first step. The second step would be to introduce the new technology through the app, right?
Right.
How do you use your technology to introduce better technologies, right, for the farmers? So I think distribution of the technology is much more important than just introducing the technology, because working with farmers, these guys, they need a lot more hand-holding, right? A lot of hand-holding. So the question would be, how do we scale up this hand-holding business,
right,
with the farmers, right? Yeah.
Okay. So, of course, as I mentioned before, there is this push, by Indonesia itself to boost its agricultural production, food production itself. It seems that Agritech is really helping, like you mentioned before, in terms of prices as well. How do you see the whole Agritech startup industry moving forward in the next few years? I know there's a couple right now. Some didn't do so well, some are thriving. How do you see it in the future, and how do you see it maybe also impacting the incomes of farmers and the businesses as well, the smallholder businesses?
I think in the near future, I'm looking forward to see more Agritech players going more, hand-holding, doing more hand-holding with the farmers, because there are some. We have to admit, there are some steps in agri that are fully manual. You can't digitize, the farming activity itself. You don't digitize that.
Yeah.
But the role of Agritech would be, how would you, aggregate and scale up this, manual hand-holding, right? That's, as I mentioned before. And also, how would you, act as a real aggregator, right?
Yeah.
As I mentioned, because many of these startups, so to say, a lot of my co-startups or whatever, they don't really learn to like handle cash, right? Because cash transfer is still part of agri. You
Yeah.
can skip that, right? And then do actual logistics, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's I think. I don't know. In my mind, that is very important for tech startup to like.
Right. So, there's the app there, but you still need to get down to the
Yes,
field.
exactly.
Especially dealing with smallholder businesses and farmers as well.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, Mas Yoga, co-founder of Semaai, thank you so much for the talk and insight, and good luck for you in boosting Indonesia's agricultural industry as well.
Pleasure.
Thank
you so much for having me.
All right, we're going to go for a short break. When we return, we'll have our recap of the first session of trading from the Indonesian stock market. We'll be right back.